you, everybody. Coming at you from out in the wilderness. And we have
Ew. Nick
behind the camera. Now, today I'm going to show you two very cool tarp setups that may come in handy. I've never seen anybody else show these, but what they are is they're no guy line tarp setups. And what that is most are familiar with a ridge line and a guy line, but a ridge line is what goes down the center of the tarp, and then once you've got it suspended, the lines that go out the sides is considered the guy lines. Well, a lot of times you'll trip into them at night or in the dark, or they'll get into the way, or there'll be no place to put them. So this is going to be how you can set up a tarp with just 3 ridge lines and nothing hanging off the side. All right?
Really? Dang, I thought a ridgeline was where you set shelter up on the side of a cliff.
No, it's not. In some cases it may, but it may not. Well, if you thought that, what'd you think a guy line was?
Thought that's where a bunch of guys just got some beers, went out in the woods and made a shelter.
No, it's not. It supports the edge of the tarp. All right, now, before we get that going, I want to show you something else real quick, because I'm going to kind of test this out a little bit before we really get going. Now, for my friends and subscribers that saw the last video, they saw how I used my new how I was using my new Three Rivers 1.7 Machete, and it came with a tech lock right here. Well, I added a stainless loop and some webbing right there, which it tends to kind of hang that way a little bit. So what I decided to do is I sewed up this little thing right here that's a dual pouch, and only one end's open and the other's closed, and it's got this bungee stretchy stuff. I guess you call that elastic, I guess, or maybe spandex. But anyway, what you do with this thing, you got a good shot here, Nick?
Yeah.
All right. You slide this on all the way up to where it touches the tech lock. And then this part wraps around your leg, and it's got Velcro, and you just attach it here. Now the thing is I've learned over the years that if you put paracord down here, it's going to droop and it's going to snag. And if you put webbing with Fastex buckles, it's going to droop. But I'm trying this big thick spandex here, and it ain't got to be real tight. If it's too tight, it'll bother you. But it's just enough so that whenever I lean down like this, it's going to stay put. And then you can just slide this around to wherever you want it. Now the pocket here, if you want to, you can put in a regular flashlight. I like a flashlight lantern combo. See, if you want to, you can put that in there. You can have a flashlight with you. Or you can put a knife in there. Now if you stick a Mora in there, say that way you got your knife and your machete. If you stick a Mora in there, you got room for a ferro rod. There's room right in here. But today, we are going to have a Baco Laplander, because it's very hard to beat a machete saw combo. And see, there's actually room for a ferro rod in here, but what we're going to do is we're going to stuff this lanyard in here. Now what I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to see, with all this moving around that I'm going to be doing, I'm wanting to see how this setup holds up. And honestly, if it holds up good, I may switch all of my machete leg straps over to this wide spandex here, loosely fitting. So, without further ado, I think we found some good trees that are going to work for this. So we're going to set up, we're going to start on the first tarp setup. Anything you want to add, Nick?
No.
Nothing?
Let's get started before the bugs get out.
Oh yeah, and before the heat gets out.
Yeah.
Alright, let's get over here and get going. Alright, we got two big trees right here, and Nick has taken the liberty of clearing out underneath them. And as usual, I'm going to take this backpack off, and we're going to take a look real quick to see what all I have. Because people like to see ahead of time what all I have and where I'm putting it. This is my Hidden Woodsman day pack. Doesn't have a kidney belt, doesn't have side pockets. Perfect for small loads. Alright, so let's take a look. I have an Arcturus tarp because I don't know what tarp I'm going to need for the second setup. I like laying these pads out, especially a nauseating color like this, because when you set stuff on the ground, sometimes it just kind of blends in with everything. So I like to put things here. This is my small rope, my 1/4 inch rope. We're going to be needing that. This is my Snug Pack all-weather shelter. I think I'm going to use that on the second one. And then down here in the bottom we have this one bag. And let's see what's in it. We have, that's some paracord for in case I need it. There's an Eno double nest. This is a East Tree hammock. These are both hammocks. Now, as little as these things weigh, I feel like you should carry 2. Because that way, if one rips for any reason, you got a backup. And then I have straps with carabiners, and then I have strap extensions. These are straps for if you can't find trees close enough together. And then in here, this little bag here is a custom-made tarp, and I honestly believe you're going to love it. And the modifications I made for it. And this thing is so small, it's just enough to cover a person, and it'll even fit into a side pocket if you have to. So if you had a smaller hammock, like a Eno single nest, you know, you could actually put a hammock in this pocket and then this tarp in this pocket. And then if you got a saw and a machete, you're good to go. Or maybe even you could get by with just a saw. So what we're going to do, this is 1/4 inch rope, and Nick has got some 3/8 rope in his pack that we're going to use for the other setup. So let's dump all this out. We got all that rope there. You might could use paracord, but we're going to use rope. All right. So, you ready to go, Nick? We're going to set it up?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. I always hank my ropes so that they're easy feed out. I've got there's several videos on YouTube of how to do this, and I've done a few in the past in various videos. But the first thing that you want to do is you want to reach up high, right here, and you want to go probably about head high, about as high as you can get. All right. Alright, and you want to be right in the center line of the tree. Okay, that's important. And then you're going to come over here, and you want to be about head high. You want to come around the tree. Now the way I wrapped around this tree, the way you want to be in the center here, is what you want to do is you want to put the rope here, and you're going to pull it over like that. Now, that's not quite high enough. Alright, so see, you want to pull over to where you're in the center of the tree right here. And then you want to go around again. And then you want to wrap around a couple of times.
There's a new game we invented called Ring Around the Tree.
Yeah. Now you can't just go straight because you'll pull these loops out. You got to go around them. Now this is a hard part. You got to hold this while you feed every bit through there. Got to undo this. All right, you got to feed this thing through here like that. One minute, which I just dropped it. The old famous whoops. Alright, so you want to feed this through. To make sure, I say I done went loosened up a little bit. There we go. Alright. Now I think, there we go, we're still in the center of the tree. What you're wanting is a dual ridge line. And then you come over here. And then you can do the same thing with this that you did the first time, because you're going to come around the tree and then you're going to throw the rope over like that. And then you give it a pull until it matches that rope. Now see how I got two up here?
Yeah.
All right. The next thing I'm going to do after I tie this off is I'm going to put another one of these offset on this side and offset on this side. But I'm not going to bore you with stretching this all out. But regardless of how you do it, there's probably a bunch of different ways of doing it. But what you want to do is you want two ridge lines. And then we're going to put two here. It'll make more sense after I do it. Make sense, Nick?
Yeah.
All right. All right, so what we have now is we have the upper ridge line, and then we have the side ridge lines, and they're dual. All right. Now, normally I use 3/8 rope, and you can see what 25 feet of 3/8 rope is compared to 25 feet of 1/4 inch rope. Big difference. Because this took 3 hanks of this rope. Now, normally this stuff here, I always used this for years and years and years, but it's a little bulky. It's really not that heavy. This is Rothko 3/8 camo rope. And I don't know if this is Roscoe or not, but it's Rothko, not Roscoe. This is 1/4 inch camo rope, but it's probably made by the same company. I think Atwood makes them both, but generally they're marketed under the name Roscoe. Now pan over here, look over here, for just in case. See, we got one high ridge line, and then these right here. This is like a triangle. Okay. Now here is the key. Let's take a look at this.
Oh, what's in
What
the
I have
bag?
in here, this is gonna make no sense. I have a little bungee cord with a bunch of cord locks.
You make no sense.
This will make, see, Nick hasn't even seen this because this is something that I recently invented.
This man is mad.
He's mad. All right, now this little bitty bag, this little bitty tarp right here. Let's have a look at this. Oh no, let me throw it over here. All right, let's take a look at this tarp. So what you want to do, this tarp has got, that's a pretty big tarp for such a small size. Now, on the corners, what I've done, the corners have paracord sewn on. Now, anytime you sew paracord on, you want to remove the inner strands because it makes it easier to sew. And I have about 4 inches of bungee material held onto that loop with a lark's head because this bungee material is impossible to sew and you can take it off if you need to. So what you need now is all right, we've got 4 of these down each side. This will make more sense in a minute. You have to hold it up this way on the end. You'll need 4 sticks. Now see, my arms are not fully extended. So you need 4 sticks probably. You need a little bit hanging off each side. So what you're going to need is you need 4 sticks that are fingertip to fingertip for this tarp. All right. So we are going to go find 4 sticks, and then I'm going to show you how to set this thing up. And here we go with my handy dandy reach in, whoop, ready to go. Let's go get some sticks. All right, we got 4 branches here, about the same height. We're going to hope they work, because sometimes you have to kind of dig around and get the right branch. Now, we've trimmed off all of the little nubbies on it, all the little stems, so that it won't be poking in our thing. So now what we want to do, put this up. Oh, that's held up good so far. Let's take the biggest one. You want the biggest ones on the ends. So what you want to do is you want to reach in here, okay, arm to arm, and I'm going to eyeball right where the center is, where my buttons are. And it's right here. All right. Now this next operation, you have to do it with a saw. You cannot do it with a machete or a knife, because you may cut too deep. So what you want to do right here is you want to cut a V in it, and you want to do it to where the stick droops. So I want to do it right here on this side. You want to cut a little V in it here, about halfway. Because you may have to go deeper, but sometimes you don't want to go too deep. All right, there you go. All right, look at that. Now this is a tricky part, depending on the tree.
Hang on, I missed it.
Huh?
All right.
You got it.
That's a lot more than half.
Yeah, it is. That's why you aim for half in case you go more. Now you want to gently.
You want to gently break it in half, so
No, you don't.
your old pal Nick has to go look for more sticks.
No, what you want to do now is you want to feed it through here.
What kind of ghetto shelter are you making?
You'll see. All right, just like that. Just like that. All right, how's that look? And you want to do all three of them this way. It'll make more sense in a minute, I swear. All right, let's do these others and then we'll be good to go. Look with a button. Turn it up. Should have opened it already. Check it again. All right, center to center, right here. Then we're going to go up here. All right, now really what I'm going to do, that's about halfway because I'm trying to weaken it without breaking it. Let's give it a bend. You'll hear the fibers popping. Oh! It's still holding on, so you want to stop. Right there.
I'm not finding more sticks.
I know you ain't. All right, now there's another one. Now, once you get all four on, if you want to, you can take paracord and lock these in just like that. You can also lock these in. You can just wrap paracord all around the insides to lock it in. All right, so I'm gonna do the other two off camera and put them up in there. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. Now those other two that were doing the cracking and the popping, that's not good. It'll work, but it's not good. What you want is, see this? See how it comes down? There was no cracking, and it kind of springs back. That's more like what you want. Sometimes vines work better than sticks.
Try telling you to use vines and you wouldn't.
All right, so the next thing you want to do is you want to take your tarp.
And you want to hang your clothes on these giant clothes hangers. That's what they look like. They look like clothes hangers.
You want to space it out. Wait a minute, that ain't it. It's this side. You want to space them out before you tie them up with a paracord. All right, so we got that one spaced. And then this one needs to be about right here. Right there and right there. And then you want to do the third one. It actually needs to be right there. So you pull this over to here, and I bet you this one's going to have to go all the way over here. Alright, so now what you want to do, and see, you don't want these sitting on top. You want them sandwiched in between, because if you put them on top, they tend to move around. So, take you a good piece of paracord. Probably need a long one. Yeah, I need more long. Take you a piece of paracord, and what you're going to do is you're going to tie these up. Just like this. You're going to lock in every one of them at the top. All right. Now once you put weight on these things, now see, I've got these pulled up to where they're touching, but once you put weight on them, they're going to come down and touch these. a lot of people may complain and say that this is too much work, but I mean, why not just bring a tarp and use ridge lines and guy lines? But the thing about this is if you enjoy bushcrafting and camping and fooling around with knives and machetes and crafting things, this is a lot of fun. So for that fact that, I mean, you know, this is just something fun to do. And it's neat not having guy lines. And it's also along the lines of, you know, why would you do this? Well, why would you go camping? Why don't you just sit on the couch and watch reruns of Roseanne?
All right.
All right, so you're going to throw this over, just like that. Let's drag this over. Pull this to the end. I'm fixing to show you the whole idea behind it. Right. Pull this to here. All right, now let's do this. What you want to do is I'm going to put, let's grab 2 of these cord locks. Now I've got 2 extras on here for in case something breaks. And what you want to do is you want to put this just like this. And then you want to slide the cord locks on. Just like that. Alright. And then you can squeeze and tighten up and it's good to go. And you do that on every single one of them. Isn't that cool?
Uh-huh.
Alright, so I'm going to get all these done and then I'm going to go around. I'm going to work my way around tightening them all up as I've adjusted the tarp. Usually, it's easier to start with one side. I'm going to try to have about the same amount of stick sticking out. Alright, I'm going to work my way down and then go to the other side. There it is completed. Now I'm going to do a little quick walk around so that you can kind of get a better idea of it. Now that branch right over there is drooping really bad. I think I bent it too much. See how bad that one is drooping? This thing here, yeah, it's drooping pretty bad, but it doesn't matter. Rain will come off of that. Now let's have a look underneath here. So you can see the underneath. So you've got like an A-frame roof.
Cozy under here.
Yeah. Walk under there so that you can see. See, Nick's standing underneath it and he ain't got to worry about no kind of guy lines hanging out the side. Now you can trim those branches off on that side. Something
Feels like it's kind of leaning that way.
Yeah, it is leaning. Something I forgot to mention, that when those branches are a bigger diameter, I put the bigger diameters on both sides, and I should have put one on this side to give it more weight. To see?
This one will probably do that.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to swap it though. I'm just going to leave it like it is. Let's put the hammock up now. All right. There's a bunch of different ways of doing these hammocks. My Eno single nest uses I forgot the name of it now, where you use the little tubing, maybe a lark's head maybe. No, there's another name for that knot, where you go around the webbing. I done forgot it, but anyway. Oh, marlin spike hitch, that's it. See? I just do these knots and I don't remember the names. But anyway, that's what that one does, but this one here is set up for carabiners and some store-bought straps. So generally, what I will do, because this is just quick and easy deployment, which is a complete opposite of what I just did. Alright, so let's go around this tree. See if I can figure out how the strap works. Alright, we're going to go around this tree right here. What we want to do is we want to put it, we may have to move it. We're going to put it up right here like this. And so you just run that strap through, just like that. And then you've got all these loops in here that are triple sewn on that you put your carabiner in. So what you do, just put a carabiner in. Now you might could double wrap around the tree, and I think I'm going to have to, for in cases like this. We'll double wrap around because I'm going to have to probably have, these trees aren't spaced that far apart. Now those other things are strap extensions, which you can use for if the trees are really far apart. All right, now let's start out with right here, and then we can tighten it up after we've sat in it. All right, now what you do with the Eno single nest, you pop it open, and that webbing's attached. You undo the cinch sack, and the sack is sewn into the hammock. Pull that out. Then you want to find a carabiner, well, a loop. So it's got a loop on the end, and you just attach that to there. And then you go to the other side and you repeat the process. All right, let's go ahead and take this thing off, because Nick reminded me you don't want to lay in a hammock with it. Now, so far this thing right here seemed to have held up pretty good. I'm very happy with it. We're not going to need it for the second setup, so I'm going to lay this down over here. All right, Nick, you ready? Now, these trees, let me go up under here. These trees are not, they're not far enough apart, really, because I have run out of room. I'm pretty much hammock to hammock. Now, I think I'm going to have to, go up one more. There we go now. That way I won't be laying too much like a banana. All right, is there anything that's going to impale me? Always make sure there's nothing that's going to impale you. Let's see if we can lay in this hammock. Oh, all right. Oh, there we go. Let's scoot up a little bit. There we go. All right, now I'm looking up, and the tarp is past my head, and the tarp is past my feet. So this is pretty cool right here. I'm liking this. What do you think, Nick?
I think it needs a bit of a bigger tarp, because it still feels like there's a little bit of space that rain can hit the tarp and funnel down under you.
Yeah, it might could. It really needs to be tree to tree, and as lightweight as this tarp is, I may just save this tarp for like an emergency survival type tarp, and I may make a longer one. It really needs to be about 2 feet longer. But like I say, this is experimental. It ain't like this tarp's ever going to go to waste. You know?
Terrific idea though with that roof. Give you protection from anything falling from up there.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Keep those widowmakers at bay.
Yeah. And see, when you got rope overhead instead of just one ridge line, if a tree does fall off there, it'll bounce on the rope. It won't be very good for the tarp, but it'll bounce on the rope.
Yeah.
All right, you ready to set up the other one?
All right.
All right. And then, while I'm tearing down the other one, Nick can take a nap. Nick's enjoying the hammock for a minute. Now you can see how it kind of is at a banana shape. I could get one more loop out of that there and make it a little bit better. A lot of people will... Huh?
This is making me dizzy.
Is it? Nick's drinking some nice cool water while he's hanging out under that shelter. Now see if you can get out of that without spilling anything.
I don't know about while slam.
All right. Now see, ain't that a cool roof, Nick? You ain't got to worry about tripping over no guy lines or nothing.
Nifty.
Nifty. All right, let's start on the second one. Now for the next one, I'm going to be using the bigger rope because I'm stretching such a span. Now with this one, this is going to be a larger shelter for either more people, or like you could possibly use a hammock under this, or if you want to, if it's like during cool weather, you could just lay on the ground and have some sleeping bags or something. But what you're looking for is 3 trees this time that are spaced about this far apart. Now see, I've got my center tree right here, and then I've got these 2 trees right here that are perfect because they're like way beyond arm's length. Now, this is not ideal. These 2 are perfect, but that one is a little bit small, and so is the one behind it.
There you go.
You got it? See, there needs to be, we're going to go right past this one. This is a little small, but it's perfectly in line with those others. And so that's going to pull this tree over. But I'm not going to go through the pain of forcing you to watch me run all these ropes, because it's basically a larger version of the other one. So I'm going to run all the ropes, and then we'll cut you back on, and I'll show you how to put the tarp in. As you can see now, I have a ridge line up here, and I have one over here, and I have one over here, and they're dual. All right. So now sometimes I think about this top one. I don't know if you necessarily have to feed it in, but I'm going to anyway. There's a bunch of different variations on this. Remind me that's over there. Alright, so what we have here is, this is a snug pack extreme weather shelter. And that is fancy talk for tarp. Let's see, you can go through these 2, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over the top of it for now. I got to try to figure out the long end. Let's see. I think it's longer the other way. Yes, it is longer the other way. So this needs to be hanging over here, and this needs to be hanging over here. This, now, you can either feed it in between here if you've got enough hanging down, or you can feed it over, which I think I'm going to do, just like this. Just like that. Now let's see if we got enough to go over here. Yeah, we do. Alright, now the idea behind this is what I got to show you next. Is the way to do this is you take your paracord and you got to start from one end. And I'm going to do one end like this. And then I may do the rest of them off camera because it may take too long. Alright, what you do with this is you take your paracord here and you tie it off. Just like that. And this is also a way of saying, seeing how level, how uneven the sides can be or not be. Now, the whole idea behind this is to keep from bumping into this, is you want to run this over the top, so that this is over the top, literally. Now you got to undo all this, so that you've got the end. Now what you want to do is take this and pull it over like that, and then feed this through. Just like this. Then you want to straighten all this stuff out here. Just like that. Now, you want to go up in here, and I think I'm going to go do the other end. I think I'm just going to tie this off like this, because... Alright, you get the basic idea? You're pulling... And the reason you use dual ridge lines is because it gives it extra strength for like snow or rain. And there's other options for that too. Okay, if a tarp's big enough, you can just hang the sidewall down and tie it off to rocks, or you can do like this and pull it up under and tie it off this way. So I'm gonna get 3 more pieces of paracord and I'm gonna tie the rest of these off so that you can see what it looks like all stretched out. Sound good?
Does good.
All right. What we're looking at now is I've got it finished, and I'm gonna try to move you around a little bit here so that you can see it. Let's go up real high and take a look. Let's take a look from the side. There's no guy lines. That is a completely independent roof. Now if you want more of a pitch to it, you just lower these ends. Let's go up and get a look at it at the top. Let's go look at it from the side. Alright, let's see it right here now. I'm going to try to explain this a little bit. As you can see, I put the first rope over there, second rope up there, third rope over there. And then I draped the tarp over it. Now, let's go inside and take a look. A lot of y'all may like this a whole lot better than the first one, but the first one, is kind of a fun, minimalist thing for messing around with. Now, as you can see, what you do is just like the first one, you tie it off and you stretch it around, and then you run the paracord over the top, and then you run it over and you grab the other side right there. Isn't that cool? Now, if you want to also, this could be a little pocket for very lightweight things. You could put maps up in here, or you could put gloves or hats up in here or whatever. And you could really secure it with a bunch of paracord if you want to put weight in it. So, isn't that neat? And there's no guy lines anywhere because the edges are folded up and under. See if we can follow one of them. Yeah, you can see right there how I got the paracord. This thing's wrapped around this thing, and then it goes around and it's tied on top right here, and then it goes around and then it's tied right here. So that is it. Isn't that neat? I got a feeling a lot more people are going to be using this one before they will the other one. But like I said, it's just freely independent of the other one. Alright, next going to walk underneath it just to show you. See? You're tied off at each tree, and there's no guy lines hanging out. You're free to walk from one end to the other.
Just demonstrating shoving stuff up there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can put things up there if you want to. See, it doesn't really affect it. See, that's what I was talking about the pocket. Show them a little bit better, Nick.
Yeah. So shove my hat up
Yeah,
there.
lightweight things like your hat or your sunglasses or your cell phone. It's just kind of a neat little pocket up there that you can do.
Yeah, holds up good.
Yeah, like I say, it says tied off to this tree, and this tree, and this tree. And there's no guy line stretching it. That's the beauty of this. I mean, I can't stress it enough. This is a great tarp setup. Isn't that cool? All right, we ready to close this thing out, Nick?
Yes, sir.
All right. Alrighty, so that is it. We have the small minimalist shelter over there with the ribs in it. Can you see it from here?
It's pretty camouflage.
Oh, is it? And it's just black.
Oh, there we go.
But I
Well, to
believe
the camera, it's pretty camouflage.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think that thing right there is going to have to be a little bit longer. It ain't that big of a deal. I'll just make another tarp, and I can use that as my... That's supposed to be a survival tarp anyway for emergency situations because it's so small. But I wanted to see the little cord locks are great because they stay under tension. Sometimes when you tie paracord, no matter what knot you use, if you put them on an A-frame, you just can't get them to stretch out enough. And so this thing here is just wonderful. I'm sure more people are going to wind up using this one than the other one. And I mean, it's just all around a great thing to do. So, anything you want to add, Nick?
No, let's just take a break now.
All right, sounds good
Got
to me.
camp set up.
Yep. Oh, and you could also
Still
put a hammock
can't
on.
really see that over there, but
Yeah.
just look for the really bright spot. The sun's reflecting off of it pretty bad.
Yeah. Oh, in reality, I mean, that's a cool setup, but in reality, this one over here, the tarp doesn't weigh that much more than that one, but the rope does. So, I mean, in reality, actually, with this thing, this would be better for a hammock because you got tons of room underneath there. So, anyway. All right. I hope you had fun. Hope you learned something. This was a lot of fun for me because I love doing this kind of stuff, you know. And a lot of people, they're like, oh, why don't you just bring a tent, you know. Well, why don't you just stay home? This stuff's fun, you know. Get out and make things, create things, set up weird shelters, you know, come up with new ideas. The variations on this one here is limitless. You could have a back wall. You could tie it off to this one side and have a back wall to it if you wanted to. Another thing, during the wintertime, you could set one up like this and then just have clear plastic around the sides and have a giant fire all around it. It'd be a big, giant greenhouse for like 4 people, you know. Anyway, we'll let you go then. Get out, enjoy life, and we shall see you in the next one.
See you later.